On August 4th of last year, Bangladesh stood united in response to state-sponsored violence against protesters across the nation. Political leaders were clearly aware of the long march planned for Dhaka on August 5th, with the protesters' mission being clear: to overthrow Sheikh Hasina's autocratic regime. The sense of urgency was visible. Two crucial meetings took place at the residence of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Top officials from every branch of the military and police convened for these high-level discussions. During the meetings, they debated the possibility of imposing a curfew to hinder the protesters' movements. Behind closed doors, Hasina was urgently working on a counter-strategy to suppress the protests and maintain her grip on power. In the final hours of her regime, she did everything possible to maintain control and even planned strategies to escalate violence against protesters. The recent UN report has brought these shocking events to light. The report exposed the government's brutal tactics, including the unthinkable extrajudicial killings, all in a desperate attempt to suppress the Long March. Senior officials who participated in the meeting say that there was an agreement on a plan to use force, if necessary, to prevent protesters from entering central Dhaka, with the police alongside the army and the BGB deployment.
আন্দোলনরত কোটা বিরোধী শিক্ষার্থীরা পরে পরিস্থিতি স্বাভাবিক রাখতে ঢাকা সহ সারা দেশে বিজিবি মোতায়েনের সিদ্ধান্ত নেওয়া হয়।
Meanwhile, the police would control the unruly crowd. On August 5th, something unexpected happened. While the military and border forces were in position, they didn't follow the planned defense strategy. The border forces allowed thousands of protesters to pass through. Security cameras showed hundreds of protesters moving freely towards central Dhaka without military interference. A senior officer said that the army did not deploy the forces they had promised. Another senior officer said that BJP allowed approximately 10,000 to 15,000 protesters per hour to enter through various entry points, which they were supposed to control. A third senior officer, recalling the situation, said that he saw 500 to 600 protesters in CCTV footage coming from Uttara towards central Dhaka without any military interference. He realized something was wrong. A fourth senior officer personally called the Prime Minister to inform her that the plan was not being executed as intended. To stop the march on Dhaka and prevent the protesters from reaching the city center, police were still firing lethal shots at the protesters in many locations. A police commander explained, from that morning, the army knew that the Sheikh Hasina had fallen, but the police did not. Therefore, the police were still fully engaged in the field to protect the government. Despite these desperate measures, Sheikh Hasina's 15-year autocratic rule came to an abrupt end. A student-led uprising driven by determination toppled the autocratic government. This day will always be remembered as a powerful example of people's strength against tyranny in Bangladesh's history.